All right, time to discuss access reviews. So, just a little forewarning on this one. This is actually going to be, I think, probably one of the only videos that we have where I actually pivot throughout the platform inside of here into different sections. And the reason for that being is that we have a couple areas that all tie in to really, I would say, access reviews. So things from like risks, access reviews inside of the environment, all really tie in nicely into the response side in our campaigns. And really, the way to kind of, and I'm just going to go ahead and cover, I think, probably campaigns as well here, is to think of an overall risk reduction effort in some platform that you have. So, for example, if we were to take this one and take a look at access reviews, maybe we just say along the lines, I have an overall goal of reducing the risk profile in our AWS environment. So that would be a scenario where I could come into something like the access reviews tab and inside of identities, and I can go select maybe a particular bunch of users inside of here. And so I'm just going to go grab 3 or 4 users inside of here. And what I'm going to say is I want to go create a campaign. I'm going to go and interact with a campaign that we already have open just to kind of show you inside of there. But essentially, this is what it would look like. And in addition to that, under Exaforce risks, which we've already talked about previously, is you have the same type of functionality inside of there. So the really kind of the best way to think about campaigns is from a risk reduction perspective. And so for what I might do is like, let's just go once again, select our AWS environment. Here's all the open risk. I want to grab all of these and go and create a campaign. Or if I had already created that campaign, I would go add these to a campaign that I had already created. And ultimately, what we want to do, and I'm just going to go ahead and open up a campaign inside of here, is that we're taking a look holistically across our environment. Where's our risks at? And then also looking at maybe user accounts and trying, since we're bringing in raw logs, we're looking at CloudTrail data. We're seeing what the users and roles are doing inside the environment. And plus we have config, is that I also can go take a look at like, hey, what all permissions are assigned to this user? What are assigned to this role? And now I can start to really kind of piece it together like, well, hey, based off of what we know, there's opportunity inside of here where we could go limit the amount of permissions that they have based off of what they normally do on a day-to-day basis. So what that would look like is in an open campaign. So now just taking a look inside of here, and let's go open one that we have with this Q3 access review inside of here. And there were some user accounts that were added to this. And you could see inside of a campaign that you're going to have different cases, and each case is going to be applied to the particular risks that you add to the campaign and the particular cases or users that you add inside of here. And what you're going to get is a suggested verdict inside of here. So for example, a couple of these are certify. And if we just go open up one that is certify, what it's going to go do is open up this user account. And you can see this is an access review. And it's going to show like, hey, we know it's this user inside of here. And the verdict is that we certified the permissions that they have. So both the group memberships and the user are actively managed. No directly assigned permissions are inside of here. You know, just taking a look at all this, this looks like it's pretty good to go. Here's an entire identity permission graph based off of what they have permissions to do, what they could go do inside of here. Here's our analysis. Basically any group memberships that are assigned to there. If there were any remediations, they would be listed here. And just kind of scrolling down and seeing, hey, were there any directly assigned permission sets? No. Security findings? No. No risk findings? Hey, this looks pretty good. We certify what this person has. However, we did notice that there was some suggestions that were modified. So go and loading in Manisha's account is that now if we go load inside of here, same thing, it's going to give us a little bit of a summary and basically saying, hey, we recommend that we actually modify this person's privileges or permissions. So this user has 4 unused directly assigned permission sets that should be removed. And it's going to go list those out and even what account that they're in inside of here as well. And then basically here's what your next steps are. Once again, your identity permission graph. Now we can see we have a remediations tab that we could go open up and take a look at what those are at. And then basically it's saying, hey, here's directly assigned account tables, all of this information, any securities, risks, and things of that nature. So just a nice way that Since we have access to all of that data, since we have config, we have the raw data that we're seeing inside of the environment, is that now we can go and create these campaigns based off of things like we saw in our identities tab, like access reviews. And so basically just opening this, what you're going to see inside of here is simply just a list of those user accounts inside of here. But as I go open up one of these user accounts and I go load up this access review, this one's just letting me know this user's been deleted. However, under roles and permissions inside of here, down here at the bottom, we can see this user has been added to 3 different campaigns, a part of an access review case that we want to go take a look. So this is just a way that, like I mentioned, you can add those risks. You can add these access reviews inside of here and really kind of give you an idea of like, hey, where's an opportunity that we could start just kind of limiting and reducing that risk footprint inside of our environment based off of those things. And then ultimately those cases can be assigned to the account owners or kind of whoever those stakeholders are inside of those environments. So that is really access reviews, and just kind of want to let you know, so apologies for jumping around just a little bit, but they're a bit more in depth, what there are capability wise. So I just wanted to make sure that I discussed them in their entirety. So I appreciate you watching, and next we're going to dive into infrastructure. Thank you.